If you look at, I was up to walk around Canterbury every day, and there's a guy dug out a swimming pool with a bobcat. Well, a contractor did, and he tracked that out and dumped it in a truck on the street. Man, that just destroyed his whole side of the house. Like, all of that at the side is just mud. It's a nightmare. So hauling that stuff out to the street, they would just destroy the folks' property on the way out to the street. This way, you can get rid of the sediment and not destroy people's property, and remediate the damages that have already been done. It's just amazing. Anyway, hopefully we can get some progress on this. I'll tell you when we do. I'll tell you if we don't.
No, sure not.
And we'll see how far we go with it, Neil.
No, it would certainly be a tremendous benefit if that is the final solution.
And then first of all, they have to get the drainage fixed. There's no point in fixing this up if we keep getting more flooding and mud.
Right, anything they do would just wash away ultimately.
That it has to first, they got to get the drainage done, and then remediate this along the creek. One of the situations that has really been puzzling to Bill Vivian and myself is where did all of this water come from that's causing all of our flooding, it's causing all of our erosion, causing all the flood damage, and we just haven't been able to understand that. But now that we saw what happened with the reservoir being dumped into the storm sewer, we now see that City of Burlington has installed this asphalt gutter all along this 1,000-foot very steep hill on Kerns Road that starts up at the lookout. and goes right down to the reservoir, goes down to Gloucester Drive. And of course this asphalt gutter has very successfully collected all the water that used to run off into the field and has now collected it, carried it down to the storm sewer. So in heavy rainstorms, this is contributing about 75% of the water flow that is damaging our properties downstream. This 1,000-foot asphalt gutter is nominally about 1 meter wide, sometimes wider, and nominally about 20 centimeters deep, so as to contain all the water flow coming off the crown of the road on Kerns Road coming down this very steep hill. What needs to be done with this asphalt gutter at this point is to simply install about 4 of these diversions to take the water out of the gutter and transfer it into the field, where it'll just simply drain naturally into the soil. Of course, this is standard procedure. There's nothing really unique about that, but that's what should be done. And then that'll reduce a lot of the water going down to approaching the reservoir. These asphalt diversions simply merge with the asphalt channel coming down. So this is very accepted practice on diverting water out of a channel, is to use that methodology. Just to the west side of this asphalt gutter is a big field. The full length of this asphalt gutter that is well over 100 meters to any creek, and there are many natural berms that would contain large water flows. But generally the water will the water used to just soak into this large field that is well over 10 acres in size. Would simply soak into the ground. And the water would never get to a creek in any case. Certainly not during a heavy rainstorm. And so what needs to happen is these diversions that must be installed along this 1,000-foot long asphalt gutter. These 4 diversions are simply going to redirect the water right back into the field where it drained away naturally anyway. It will never enter this creek and flood downstream anyway. The asphalt gutter continues on down until it meets up with the concrete curb that's going down the street down to the storm sewers. Of course, there is a large ridge to contain this high water flow so that nothing ever escapes, that it all goes right down, continues on down into the storm sewer. Been very successful. The amount of water that is sent down during a rainstorm is just incredible. Of course, this is what's caused our flooding, flood damage. And this has caused our drowning hazards, caused all the erosion, and things that we never ever had before these things were put in place by the City of Burlington. The water coming down after it leaves the asphalt gutter, of course, is going to follow this concrete curb. And one of the first places that water can go is it can go in this short driveway belonging to Halton Region Water Reservoir. And of course from there it drains right into the Gloucester Drive storm sewer. So if this driveway had a slightly larger entry hump, it could keep that water from going down into the Halton Region drain in front of their doors. And if the entry to Gloucester Drive was also sloped in such a way that the water would simply continue to drain down the hill to meet the curb at the other side of, south side of Gloucester Drive on Kerns Road, that would avoid all of the water that's still coming down the hill from going into this storm sewer as well. Since in the last dozen years has been to create this small group of homes on Scenic Point. And in doing that, of course, the roadway changed. It changed from being just a continuous 10-inch curb going down Kerns Road to being an entry into Scenic Point. So now the water that's flowing down Kerns Road can very easily make that, it would just naturally make the turn rather than go over the crown of the road on Scenic Point, and it will simply roll down into this Scenic Point group of homes. And of course the storm sewer drainage is at the bottom at the lower end of Scenic Point, and it as well gets right into a little creek which gets drained immediately along with the heavy rainfall. So what can be done here as well is to just change the contour of the street so that it will be higher going into Scenic Point than it is to continue on down. So make the contour so the water will simply continue on the way it was before into its original drainage going down Kerns Road. It's not any great challenge to do that because at almost every driveway, the driveways are sloped down so that water coming in that curb area doesn't get into the driveway. It just continues on down the street. As an alternative at Gloucester Drive, instead of changing the contour of the pavement to get the water to run down and meet up with the Canterbury storm sewer entry, the pipe of the storm sewer piping can be changed to pick up these drainage points and reroute them about 100 feet, 120 feet I suppose, down to the Canterbury storm sewer entry. So there's a question of short-term and long-term. Certainly changing the piping would be the best long-term solution. Maybe in the short term, changing the contour of the pavement would get the same job done, but the long term certainly is to change the piping. A few days ago we had a very heavy rainstorm in Burlington, upwards of 50 millimeters, and now down at Gloucester Drive we see, just coming around this this curve coming off Kerns Road going into Gloucester Drive, we see there's quite an accumulation of gravel, and this gravel goes down to the first storm sewer entry. And the question is, of course, where did this gravel come from? And the gravel came from top of the hill, right at the lookout at the very top of Kerns Road. It got washed down all the way down, so the water turns the corner and goes into Gloucester Drive. Coming into this water reservoir, Halton Region Reservoir, we also see this trail of gravel that's coming down from this washing down the hill. We see that the water, you just see it, look at where the gravel is and you know where the water was. And so the water obviously came down, turned a corner, washed right into the Halton Region driveway. You can just see the flow patterns. Of course, when the water gets down to the entry point, there is a drain right along in front of the door, a large drain, so it'll take off any water. It'll get rid of any water and take it right down to the storm sewer as well. There's no question this is what happens when you get major water flows. Looking at the top of this long stretch of Kerns Road, of course here's where we see where the gravel is, where the gravel is washed out. And the gravel, of course, is just washed right down all the way down the street. And at high velocity and gone right into the storm sewers. This is Wednesday, August the 8th, 2012. I've just been following the water flow down from Gloucester Drive, which of course is where the storm sewers come in, and you can just see the ocean all the way along this creekway